You ready?
I'm present.
Hey, we ain't lending to those illegal aliens anymore.
What?
Hey, we ain't lending to those illegal aliens anymore, or probably even aliens that are legal.
What?
That
Please,
new thing that came out.
please, please elaborate.
Well, everyone's freaking out because they're not going to lend to you if you're not like American citizen. They
Yeah,
keep
the
saying.
FHA announcement or
Yeah,
yeah, Freddie Mac and yeah, whatever.
yeah, it just means U.S. citizens.
However, like I always enjoy saying, in the hands of a lesser loan officer, that would be a problem.
That's right, exactly, because we have an ITIN loan. If you don't know what an ITIN is, this doesn't apply to you, but where we can finance 96.5% loan to value as long as you have an I-10 and a 580 credit score, which is exciting for people who, were really worried that this type of financing was abolished by everyone. Nope,
Yeah,
it's still
no.
available.
No, it isn't. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Like I'm so blown away by the idea that and this shows the strength of it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
ITIN, individual tax identification number, and that's issued to somebody who is here but doesn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have a work authorization, right?
Right,
So it gives somebody the opportunity to be, or not the opportunity, right? Like, oh, God bless us for being able to pay
right.
taxes. But it gives them the authorization to be able to pay taxes
Yes,
on their income, even though they may not have a Social Security account,
correct.
Social Security number.
Yep, and that's exactly it. And those people can buy a home
Yes.
using my program. As long as they have an I-10, we can do it. And they only need 3.5% down, which is awesome.
Yep.
But can even they afford to buy a house right now?
Ooh, affordability. Affordability. That's a big word right
Yeah,
now. I mean,
it
it's
is.
a key word right now.
Well, we talk about it a lot. And I think the reason why that is, we talk about don't pay attention to the mortgage calculator, do the application, blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
really
Yep.
find out.
Yep.
And there is a reason why we always talk about those things
Yep.
because affordability is such a hot topic right now.
Yep.
The last few loan applications that I've done, people get this idea in their head of what they can afford because again, they're
Oh yeah,
looking at
yeah.
the payment that's presented to them online,
Yeah.
which is total bullshit.
Yeah. The
And then
when it shows a house and then it shows monthly payment, you got to click on that and read the fine print.
yeah, 100% because they're not accurate with their rate. They're
Yep.
not accurate with homeowners insurance. They're
Yep.
not accurate with taxes. So then when that person effectively comes and talks to me,
Yep.
they get a completely different payment.
Yeah.
Ugh, and they're shocked because then you remind them, oh, by the way, gas, electric, trash, the interwebs,
Yep.
all that kind of stuff
The
that now goes
interwebs.
along with it.
Hey,
Yeah.
that interweb, man, you got to watch that because that bill will creep up on you.
Well, you, you know how much we're paying for a cell phone bill a month right now?
No clue.
600. It's
Dang.
11 it's 11 lines, right? Because I live in
Oh,
the country. We don't have like real internet. So we have all these we rig it.
yeah,
We
yeah.
we redneck internet it. But still
We
600 a
redneck our
month.
internet.
We do. We redneck our internet. But it just goes to show you how expensive things are getting.
Yeah, 100%.
And when you look at what your actual payment is for where you think you wanted to live,
Yeah. Yeah.
you add up all those extra bills, it really does. It kind of makes a person feel a little defeated, I would say.
This is definitely an environment where someone can feel pretty defeated. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So we've talked about a couple different ideas. Obviously, not everyone wants to buy a duplex.
Correct.
They just don't want that. And not necessarily everybody wants to buy a house so they can have roommates. People
Correct.
are trying to, buy a house because that's what they want to do, because they want to live by themselves. And it's interesting, my buyers have the best ideas.
Also,
Well, a new fresh idea that we're kind of doing is, this kid he's 24 years old.
yep.
He's buying a $215,000 house.
Okay.
It's not a tear down. It's not even tear the walls out, but
Okay.
it's a fix as you live in
Okay.
type of property.
Yep.
So he's getting the thing. It was listed for 225. He picked it up for 215.
Mhm.
What are we talking about? New appliances, some paints
Yeah.
on the walls, new fixtures, maybe a new chandelier, whatever. The minor fixes where you don't need to necessarily call a contractor in all the time
Yep.
to make a house look nice and gain that appreciation, because you're not living there forever,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
That's the first house. It's like you sign a lease agreement for a year.
Yep.
You rent a place. Sometimes you end up staying there for 2, 3, 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, you could think of it that way when you're buying a house, your first house especially,
Yeah.
that you're just kind of signing a lease agreement with yourself for the next 24 to 48 months.
Yeah. Yep.
And you just got to maybe fix it up while you live in there.
Well, and that's the thing is, and so everybody's skill set is different as well.
Yeah, you know what my skill set is? Freaking YouTube, bro.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Freaking YouTube.
Yeah, the YouTube, you start there, man. That'll teach you just about anything.
Dude, I used to joke that my tools were my checkbook and my phone.
Yeah.
Dude, no. Now it's my tools are YouTube and whatever I got to go buy at Menards.
Yeah.
That's the new old Huddy over here.
Yeah. And it
You know?
determines whether or not you actually do the work.
Yes, 100%.
Because I remember looking at, I don't know, it was changing, it was fixing like a tie rod or something.
Oh,
And I'm looking at these guys and it's a $20 part
oh
and
yeah.
but they've
$300
got
in labor.
yeah, they got it lifted they got it lifted and they're swinging away with the sledgehammer and I'm thinking to myself, well, it's January.
Yeah.
I don't have a lift. And if
No.
I do get it lifted, I'm not swinging away with the sledgehammer underneath my car just to get it broke loose. That's
Well, because at least if they
dangerous.
break it, right?
Exactly. So,
Your $20 repair turned into 500 if you break it.
yeah. So you run her down to the body or to the auto shop and he takes 20 minutes and $400 and I send it back and I say, don't give it back to me for at least 3 hours. Make me feel like the $400 was like,
No kidding.
yeah,
But that's sometimes what you got to do though when you're buying a house. You got to take a little risk. You got
yeah,
to have the courage
yeah,
to try to do some stuff yourself.
yes,
And the other thing that this kid I'm talking about, where he's buying, we
yes.
did a zip code shift, because if that's
Where?
it. Affordability could be a zip code shift away, right?
100%.
So
100%.
if, like, I'm not going to use where he's living as an example, because, well, I would have to describe the suburb of a suburb.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't probably know it in relation, but I can tell you it's 30 minutes away
Okay.
from a suburb that's got everything it needs, which is about 10, 15 minutes away from a major city. So it's
Yeah.
45 minutes from a major city, but
Yeah.
only half an hour away from everything else, including his family. So, what does that look like? You're the real estate agent. I'm just the money guy.
Yep.
We're talking Minnesota,
Yep.
Twin Cities area.
Yep.
If I'm talking affordability, what are two cities that people that live here could get? And we'll describe kind of what they are population wise, maybe in the distance.
Yeah. Well, and the
I
thing
mean,
is it's recognizing, I always tell folks use your Google Street View because
yeah.
Google Street View, when you're looking at a house, it does two things. One, it gives you the opportunity to see what the house looked like when it wasn't in showing state. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, what it
Yeah.
look like on an everyday. And the other thing too is that with Google Street View, I almost never see, not that it's not a never, almost never ever see the Google Street View in the snow. So it's
No.
yeah, so it's usually good weather, clear sunny day. Um and what that does is it gives you an opportunity to look around and take a virtual walk around the block.
Yeah.
So you can see what the neighbors are doing,
Huh.
who's cutting grass, who's not cutting grass.
That's really
Who's
smart, especially in the wintertime.
100%.
Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas,
Yep.
Montana's, the whole
Yeah.
North, right?
You don't get to
Everywhere
see
that
it
gets
if
snow.
it, yeah, if you're buying in January, you're taking a chance to see what it looks like around the
Yeah.
neighborhood. But this is a good tool that I always encourage. And the reason I do that on the third part is there's some towns, there's some cities, there's some local markets that just don't have the best reputation, right? Use
Right.
things like that, but this allows you to actually dive in and actually take a look and find those pockets of quiet enjoyment of your property. And that's where that whole, you might just be one zip code away from buying what it is that you're actually looking for. Because if
Right.
I look at if I look at if I look for a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2 car garage, um, I'm gonna find, you know, new construction in Cambridge for 3 to 350.
And
I'm gonna
where's Cambridge?
Cambridge is north of the Twin Cities.
About how far do you think Cambridge is?
That one's the stretch. It's about an hour.
Okay, but what's in between Cambridge and the Twin Cities? Like Forest Lake?
Oh, yep, yep, yep.
So Forest Lake is about 25 minutes from downtown St. Paul, and
Right.
Forest Lake has everything.
Correct.
So if you're
Correct.
in, obviously Cambridge probably has its stuff,
Oh yeah.
but then it's 30 minutes from Forest Lake, which is huge. It's got everything you want.
Yeah, you just jump on ice or Highway 65 and head north. I mean, it's not close to the Twin Cities, but if you're working in Blaine, suddenly
Oh,
Cambridge isn't that far. Or
right.
if you're working in Hugo or Shoreview or Anoka, I mean, even Elk River, Cambridge is not that far. People are working on the north side of Minneapolis, and suddenly now you're able to get into a new construction and the warranties and everything that come with it and still get
Well,
into a 3 bedroom and you're less than 350.
and for context, if we were looking, say, in a suburb
Yep.
of the Twin Cities, say like a Lakeville,
Yep.
instead of 350, half million, 550,
Correct. Because if I
maybe, or
look at
something
that
like that.
Yeah, I look at that criteria right now. There are no Lakevilles. You don't see Lakeville.
Oh,
Not for less than 350.
no.
But I see Coon Rapids.
Yeah.
Coon Rapids is right around that, just outside the 694 loop.
That one you see for 350 in Coon Rapids is gone.
You already got somebody
My buyer
coming.
got it.
Your buyer got it. Yeah. And we're
Only
talking,
one.
yeah, we're talking, 2,100 square feet. And that's a pretty good size, built in 62.
Yeah.
So you're a zip code away. You can head down. There's three of them in Farmington, and Farmington's not that far anymore.
No, and Farmington's big and Farmington's right there by Apple Valley and Burnsville,
Yeah.
which has everything you want.
Yep. Yep. That's
And
exactly
then
right.
you get to Apple Valley, you're 10 minutes from Mall of America.
Yeah. And now you flip that around a little bit, and let's say you go into someplace like a Roseville, a high demand Roseville. That same 350, it's gonna buy you how would
Two
you say
bedroom.
it, lived in hard
Oh yeah. Yeah.
type of a property.
A mature home.
Yeah, a mature home, 1,100 square feet, and it's still gonna run you 350, if not a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all that stuff is really good to know and to really think about making a zip code shift,
Yep.
looking at a property that you do got to fix up.
Yep.
Bet, you buy an ugly house, you make it not ugly.
Yeah.
What does that really take? So that's an option because if we think about our interest rates,
Mhm.
where they're at,
Yeah.
it's kind of it. It's been kind of it,
Yeah.
and it's not really going to necessarily change fast
Well,
at all.
and you throw in the other thing that makes it affordable, um, patience and discipline. Like if you plan out with enough time and you got some down payment scratch, and you're not feeling the pressure of all the multiple offers, or you got to go out and see the house that has
Right.
one day on the market. There's still one of the strategies is we look at properties that are 20 days, or that have been on the market 20 days. And
Yeah.
if your budget is, let's say, 350, and the house has been on the market for 20 days, I'm going to open it up so we can look at houses that are like 365. Because if you got a
Yeah.
house that's on the market for more than 20 days and it's 365, that is saying that the market is saying that that house is overpriced.
Oh, interesting.
And so the seller might be ready to wheel and deal. They might be saying,
Yeah.
"Geez, I need to sell this place. The neighbor got his sold in 2 days. That one got his sold last weekend. Why isn't mine selling?" And it's price matching up with the condition. And
Right.
so one of the
So their house
tactics
just sucks, is what you're saying.
for the
They think
price.
it's awesome.
That's exactly right. I was
Yeah.
just I just showed a house over in St. Paul, um, in the Dayton's Bluff area, and it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. They did a nice job of remodeling. Cute little place, 800 square feet. And they
Oh,
wanted $250,000 for it. I think we talked about it at one of the previous ones.
yeah.
They wanted $250,000. You That is overpriced for that
For
market,
what that
that
is.
local
Yeah.
market.
100%.
And that's overpriced for a lot of markets.
Yeah.
So price and condition.
Right. So yeah, it's definitely working with people that kind of know what's going on and have been in this market working and
Yeah.
actually succeeding in it, which is a grind in itself.
And you know what? You make a good point about that working piece, because do you remember when I was telling you I 74%
Yeah.
all real estate agents in the United States in 2024, 74% had zero transactions.
Right. It's
So,
amazing.
so you got to make sure you're working with somebody who's got the chops, somebody who's
It's
got
rapid. Yeah.
it's got their
Yeah,
teeth cut.
100%.
Yeah.
And someone that's got it's the other thing too, people get so caught up in rate.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
They are what they are.
These are the rates.
Yeah. And one guy might be a little bit better than the other for sure.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the business. Someone is always going to be better, it seems like, but you have to also pair yourself with someone that you know is going to close the loan.
Correct.
Right.
That I know that the one going around especially last year, especially when the rates went up and stuff like that, was date the rate. But I'm telling you right now, don't hate the rate.
Don't hate the rate. Yeah, it is. Well, we talk about it all the time. Early 2000s, we were selling rates higher than this.
Yep.
It's just how it goes. But to be fair, we talk about our wages,
Yep.
home prices, the cost of everything else. So again, I'm not like yelling at people. We're trying to make things more affordable.
Yeah.
By thinking of these creative ways and different programs, and at the same time just making sure you understand if you have the reason to buy, don't think these rates are going to just magically come down.
Because that's where your
unfortunately
are
not.
Yeah, that's where your equity's built, your generational wealth. It's not about timing the market, it's about having time in the market.
Yeah, time in the market. Well, and the thing that people don't understand, or they refuse to believe, maybe, if we're at 7%, rates go to 6%, a million more people enter the market. When a million more people do that in this inventory that we currently have, home prices are really going to jump.
Yeah, they'll jump 20, 30. Some markets will jump 40%.
Competition increases significantly, which coincides with, if you were to buy now in this environment, and rates come down a point, your home is going to get a double-digit appreciation incredibly fast.
Correct.
I mean, it happened to me, happened to you, happened to my kid, one of my kids, right? So it's just amazing what it looks like. So if you have questions, if you have comments, you can drop them. Otherwise, we appreciate you checking out the podcast, and we look forward to the next one.